How's it going?
Hey, great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just sitting in the office, looking at all these other great receivers above me up here that motivate me every day that I walk in this office.
Well, Rob kind of alluded to it. And I saw you cackling on the preview monitor there about the skiing story. What do you got to share on that front?
Man, look, I don't ski. Ever since I got this plate in my leg, the skis press into the side of my leg. So, being from Texas, wasn't around a lot of snow, but I have went out a couple times. I went snowboard. I find snowboarding better and easier than skiing. But no, I'm not going up there too often.
Were you doing the pizza the whole time?
I don't even know what that is.
There's like the French fry and then the pizza to go slow on skis, I guess.
Hey, yeah, no, just give me the snowboard and let me roll, and um, I'll make my way to the bottom, and that's enough for me one time.
Maybe we'll get the people at a ski seller snowboard to fit you up and we'll get you out on the mountain and get some video next season.
That'll work.
But yeah, new Stamps receivers coach. First couple months on the job. How are you liking it so far?
I love it. I love it. I had a chance to coach one time since I've retired out in BC, and now being able to get back into it and just being around these group of guys every day with the rest of the coaches on the coaching staff. It's just been a blessing and a joy to be around and be able to talk football every day and watch football.
I'm curious. Like when I hear your name, I think of as much as the staggering stats, but like the entertainment value you brought to the field as someone who loved putting on a show for the fans as much as you loved winning. So you don't do that as much as a coach. So I'm curious, how has your passion or love of the game changed or evolved with being on the coaching side?
Oh, it hasn't. I'm still passionate about everything that I do. So I'm going to bring a lot of excitement to the sidelines, and I'm going to be having a good time watching the guys go out there and ball out. But me and Juwan Simpson have brought a lot of youthful energy to this coaching staff, and it's been really fun around the office, and a lot of jokes being flying around every day. But it's really good to be a part of and just enjoying what we're doing. And for me, it's about being able to give back to the next generation and to these guys to be able to share my wisdom and my knowledge and allow them to go out and try to, you know, conquer their own mountains.
And you're gonna have Jabari Arthur kicking around for training camp too.
Yes, indeed, my brother. I remember when Jabari got here in 2008, and we were right there the same position for most of my career, most of my time here, and his time here. So to be around him and to know him so well and to see his growth, not only as a player but as a man, as a father, and as a coach, it's just so awesome to be able to see that and to be able to go through my first training camp back in Calgary with Jabari Arthur.
And then you got Dave and his new responsibilities that he's added on now. You guys have a relationship going back, 15 plus years. How's that helped you out?
Oh, it's great. It's great. When I was at the Grey Cup and Dave pulled me aside and talked to me about the opportunity, that was when it really one of those things that it was like, man, I didn't know if I was going to get back into coaching, but I knew if I was, it was going to be with someone that I trusted and I knew, and also someone that was so dedicated to the game and has so much experience, as not even just experience, but winning experience, but that can share so much of himself. So I just try to get as many nuggets as I can when I hang around him, and it's been great just being back around him and just seeing him on a daily basis.
And there's so much continuity within the organization because, people talk about the Stampeders way, but how are things different from when you left?
Not much has changed. Mark Mueller still on the coaching staff. Uh, Pat Delmonico still on the coaching staff. Dave Huff and the guys, Brendan Mahoney, Mark Killam, Brant Monson. Everybody's pretty much the same since I left here. So it's really cool. But the only way that you can keep it like that in professional sports is to go out and win, right? Because when you lose, that's when people lose their jobs. And so they've done a great job of continuing to win in ways and, continue to make the playoffs. And, it's about time we want to get over that hump and we want to be able to be in position, as Huff calls the tournament, right? To be at the top of the list and feel good about our chances of winning the Grey Cup. So that's the ultimate goal. But we understand it starts with day one. And I'm excited about rookie camp starting here in about 3 weeks, then going into training camp. So it's going to be fun. We got a young receiving core that I'm super excited to work with.
Mention the core. Let's talk about some of those receivers you're going to be working with. Malik Henry was just the breakout star last year. What do you think the best possible like follow up season looks like for him?
You know, he's a little bit smaller than Rambo, but a guy that's really similar, that can run everything in the playbook, shows great speed, and he runs so effortlessly across the field and does things. And he's a big playmaker for us. So looking forward to him being able to capitalize on what he started last year and being able to really put the attention on himself this year with the help of Reggie Bagleton, who had his best year in 2019 before he went to the NFL, and then last year, first full season back. But we're looking to take that up another notch and get him back to there as well. So we know those two guys have the great big play ability and the ability for us to win a lot of games.
That was something that Huff brought up in his end of season presser, just the use of Reggie Bagleton's speed. How do you kind of adjust his redeployment?
Yeah, Reggie's one of those guys that just getting comfortable in there at the position he's in. He's playing where I played, my last year or, my last 6 or 7 years in Calgary. So I'm going to be able to share a little bit of knowledge on how to, win a little bit more over the middle and do some of those things, protecting ourselves. And most of it just keeping those guys healthy. Those guys are like Corvettes and everything, and you can't take it out every day, but you want to keep those guys healthy and make sure they're going out there making plays and winning games for you.
Danny Austin's down at the Saddle Dome right now, but he sent this one along, said he was really curious. The other spot we kind of look at as being the third American receiver. We got a little bit of a look at Trey Odom's Dukes last year. They brought in some intriguing players like a Tommy Lee Lewis. How important is it to have that kind of open competition at spring camp?
It's great. Competition. One thing about Calgary has always been a lot of competition, and we've never been afraid to go out and compete. And my time here, I look back to me, Cope and Rambo, me, Romby and Rambo, um, me, Marquay and Eric Rogers and a lot of those guys. So being able to see just the caliber of talent and always having three receivers at the top, I think we have some top Canadians as well that could really push for that third spot, could really be an impact and a factor in this season. So I just look forward to seeing what we can do and how we can grow into it. But Trey Adams Dukes, he did some good things last year, looking to build on that as well. But we got some other young guys coming up here, like you mentioned, Tommy Lee Lewis and others. So I think we have a really exciting roster, and we're young. So it's going to be about how I can help mold them into um, the permanent playmakers that they need to be.
There's a lot of guys who are just so young and they feel like they're on the cusp. And we look at your journey, you come in as a Div 2 walk on and you completely stole the show. How do you help prime someone for that breakout? And is there anyone that you're looking at where you think this could be their year?
I look at that as like expectation. When somebody comes in, we have high expectations for them. We talk about Malik and Reggie and how high the expectation is for those two guys in this locker room. And it's not just good enough to go out and be like everybody else, but they have to really set the bar above and high for other people to reach. And um, a guy like myself that came in, 19 years ago and nobody knew, it was one of those things that nobody knew me. So there was no expectation. And I think we have a couple young guys that will be coming to training camp that don't really have an expectation, and they will be able to go out there every day and just prove it and just earn their name and earn their ability to be on this roster. So I'm really excited about it. There's guys of all sizes, and as you know, with Rice and John at 6'7", it's going to be fun to be able to work with him and the others.
Jalen Philpott is a kid who came in with a lot of expectations, a Canadian, a first round draft pick last year. Had some injury stuff going on last season, but we really started to see him come on at the end. The game against BC was absolutely insane. But what do you want from Jalen this year?
It's always about the improvement, just being sure of yourself, understanding where you are mentally. The game is a mental game as well. And as a young guy, you go out there and you play hard, you play hard, you play hard. I always say you want your young guys to bring the energy, and you want your veterans to bring that wisdom and understanding how to win games. And Jalen's one of those guys that we feel very highly about. He has the ability to really separate himself and what we call ratio changers and really be able to play one of those key spots in the offense that could really see him do better.
And if we want to talk about the big guys, I mean, it kind of feels like Luther Hakanavanu is getting better every year.
Oh man, I love it. And sitting down with him, he's one of the first people I talked to when I got the job, and calling all the receivers and just letting them know who I am, what my expectations are, and just getting to know them a little bit more. A basketball guy, it's so crazy to watch him catch the ball over the shoulder, and when most time that's the hardest catch, and for him to track the ball as well as he does, catch it over the shoulder, be a great presence, and with his stride length, he can really stretch the field. So I'm expecting Luther to take that next step as well. And we're still converting from basketball to football, so we're going to keep improving our physicality, and it's going to be fun to watch.
No, you're a multi-sport guy, but Luther strikes me as someone it's like, man, you could have just pick a sport with who you are.
100%. I don't know if he can shoot, but I'm pretty sure he can dunk it because he definitely has that great ability to make those catches downfield, tough catches over the shoulder. And I don't think you've seen anything with Luther yet. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now. We're just getting started.
Another guy who kind of like shined when they got to play in their hometown. Like we saw Jalen go off in BC, we see Luther go off in Edmonton. That's always fun stuff.
Always, man, it's always a fun times with young guys because these young guys really are able to go out and you just see the growth. But then when it clicks, one of those biggest things when it clicks in your head and you say, "Oh my gosh, I get it now," and the game really starts to slow down for them, and they're able to go out there and be consistent. That's all we look for is let's go be consistent. We'll make the plays when we have a chance to make the plays, and um, you know we we have to be able to block for those running backs because I mean, Dedrick Mills and Kadeem Carey. I mean, come on, this the best duo in the league by far, and we know with a great running game. I mean, I was a part of a great running game with Joffrey Reynolds and John Cornish. So understanding the strengths of having a great running game opens up so many windows downfield. That's going to make our job a lot easier.
And another guy we don't actually, people in Calgary don't know much about yet, Ryson Johnson. 6'7", is that right?
6'7". Yeah, last time I talked to him about 6'7", about 250, 12% body fat. He's pretty lean. Been playing tight end down in the NFL. I had a chance to sit down with him. He came in a couple weeks ago, and man, what a great young man that is, and just humble and looking to learn and go out and become his best self. And I just look forward to working with him and get him acclimated to our offense because we can use him in so many ways, whether it's a tight end or the slide or anywhere really on the offensive side of the ball, and we can create mismatches and do so many things. And so it's going to be fun to be able to have guys like that in your offense, no matter what part of the field you're in.
Is there potential for him to be a guy who makes an impact right from week one?
I believe so. I believe so. And for me, I always talk to the guys about your mentality. What's your mentality? What are you looking to accomplish and chasing your greatest self? Like that's the reason we play the game is what is the greatest version of myself inside this game, and every day I go to practice I want to try to seek that and I want to try to search that and try to go chase it, and then when the game comes I'm looking to be the greatest version of myself. So when we go out there and we play, it's going to be a lot of individuals that come together as a team, but they're all looking for their greatest self to play a complete game, to be able to be consistent and to go out there and dominate the person across from you or the team across from you. And we're going to play with an edge. We're going to have an attitude, and we're going to go out there and make a lot of plays.
The biggest storyline last season was the quarterback switch, Jake Maier taking the reins, and it went pretty well, but it could be, I guess, disruptive would be a word for the receiving core. So what does it mean to your group to be able to work with Jake Maier, knowing what's happening going forward from day one of camp?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different. I mean, I remember when the change from Hank to Drew, right? And then Drew to Kevin and Kevin to Bo. So it always changes a little bit. But when you can go into training camp, because their strengths are different, Bo and Jake, they're different guys. They play the game differently, but that's a good thing. And, for the guys that had a chance to, whether you were a backup last year like Trey Hodom's Dukes at most parts, you're probably getting most of your catches from Jake Maier. So now you're probably more comfortable with him. And then as Jake came in and Reggie and Malik started getting more and more catches from him. So you start to see that. But now starting training camp, everybody understands what's accepted. I mean, what's expected. And for Jake, it's time to really set the standard of what you're looking for, right? And they have to live up to Jake's standard because he's the one dishing the ball out, and we'll make sure we can, match that intensity and be able to be there for him to make it as easy as a transition as possible.
And maybe an opportunity to try some fun or some different things with big old Tommy Stevens back there.
Oh yeah, man! Look, that's a great athlete. When you can see Tommy running down the field, going 80 against Sass, man, I was like, man, I was blown away. By the end of the year, by what he was doing, and just seeing the work that he's put in the off season to be able to go out and just continue to work on himself to be a complete quarterback, right? So now he can go in and do multiple things. So, and that's the journey of an athlete. It's like, how can I continue to improve myself to give my best self the best chance to succeed? So he's going to be better this year. We're all going to be better, and I'm just looking forward to being a part of it.
And I'm curious. I know last season we saw you getting out to some CEBL games up in Edmonton with that nice Hall of Fame jacket on. Are you going to be showing the Surge some love when they tip off here?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'll be at the games. I like it. I like it, man. It's good content. It's very good competition out there. The guys go out and compete. So and basketball is my favorite sport. So anytime I can go out and watch them, then it's great. And I always love to support. A friend of mine and a former competitor, Mike Moriali, over the CBL. So always look forward to supporting my brothers.
What do you think of the playoff action this weekend?
Man, it was crazy. I really didn't think the Clippers were going to win, but you'll see Durant come on more and more. But there's some interesting things with Giannis getting hurt yesterday. Tyler Hero breaking his hand. It's so crazy how you think of the playoffs are going to go, and then one injury, how it can change the whole dynamic of a team. And interesting to see Golden State Warriors tonight. Steph has been my favorite player for the last 12 years, so it's going to be able to see him come back out. They're down 1-0 right now, so be able to see what they can come out and do tonight.
And they're keeping you guys busy all the way up until training camp starts. I know you guys have an event with some season ticket holders tomorrow. I guess no spoilers, but I hear you have some new threads. What's your assessment of those so far?
You know what? I'm enjoying Calgary being back. Last week I got to go out to the Colts dinner, and this week I'm doing the Stamps event tomorrow, and also the Dinos banquet. So I'm just enjoying being back in this community, being able to support people in this community, whether it's minor football or I've coached with the Alberta Selects. It's a team that travels down to Texas and other places that goes and plays football, and it's kids, right, 10U all the way up through high school varsity. So I've coached with them and done things. So I'm just so happy to be back in this community, being able to support people that have supported me for so long. So that's the most positive thing for me.
Actually, I think the last time I saw you in person, it would have been at the Flames poker tournament.
Yes.
How'd that shake out for you? I didn't see you at the end. How'd you play?
You know what? I started off pretty good. I won a hand that I didn't think I was going to win because I had the automatic rebuy. So I was like, let's get this out of the way early so I can really play. And then I started winning too much. So then I started going downhill, started playing some bad hands, and my luck never turned around after that. So even after the rebuy, my luck was still on the bad. I shouldn't have played bad. I should have just allowed it to happen naturally. But I had such a great time at the Cowboys table. So, shout out to that group and allowing me to come and sit at their table and being a part of the fun.
Oh, you were Icarus. A Sask fan got Dave's jersey, hey? I was at
Did he?
Dickie's
Oh yeah, I
Field.
remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that. Yeah, he did. That's I tell him, I was like, are you gonna go burn it or what are you gonna do with it?
I know, then I cleared out Dave one hand later after he bought back in. So close. Maybe next year though, hey?
It's tough. It's tough. But it was a wonderful tournament. A lot of people out. Um, it was so great to be a part of.
Awesome. Anything else you wanted to add or any projects going on that you wanted to plug today?
Oh man, always plug AO. AO Sports is my sports media platform that'll be launching. Hopefully this summer we're putting some final touches on now. So looking forward to getting that off the ground and doing some really good behind the scenes stuff. We'll be doing it here at Stamps headquarters. We'll be doing some other things. We have 100 over 100 athletes from 9 different countries signed up. So a lot of entertaining content that's going to be coming out, and just looking forward to being a part of that as the CEO. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
What do you hope the platform achieves?
Great success. I want to compete with the best at all times. So I'm looking to be like the sports version of what Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Crackle are, and we got some really great athletes on board. So, and then I'm about ownership, right? You owning your own content and not other people owning your content, and being having the freedom to go out and not make this a hobby, but truly have generational wealth and success through this. So athletes and sports content creators are coming together to be able to accomplish this. We're going to be able to tell some really great stories. We'll have some great documentaries, some reality shows, and all kinds of things. We have some people coming over from some major networks that's going to be bringing their content to AO, and so I'm looking forward to it from all angles.
That'll be fascinating because you just look, I think really you can grab any guy off the field at a CFL game and they all have an insane story of how they got to where they are.
100%. And one of the biggest things that I really truly believe is for women. And this platform is going to be truly great for women of up and coming athletes, women that want to get into the sports game as reporters and do other things. That I think this platform is going to be so supportive of women in their journeys, and I just can't wait to support them. And I mean, we see the stats when you look at the NCAA Final Four, how the women are so much more people watched it this year than the men's Final Four, right? And so I just look forward to being able to be a part of that and supporting women all over the world.
And even on the coaching side, because you guys will have Tatrina Medvesek joining the team for the CFL's Women in Football program. I know she kind of specializes more in the DBs coach, but have you had a woman on your coaching staff before?
I've never had a woman on my coaching staff before, so it's very interesting. But one of my board members, advisory members, and one of my good friends is Dr. Jen Welter, the first woman to coach in the NFL. She's coaching for the Las Vegas Viper right now in the XFL, and I'm trying to get her up here to come visit and hang out, come watch a game and hang out. So uh, I think we can do some really cool things around her coming up here as well, putting some women together and doing some really cool things. So she's so passionate about advancing this, and she works with over 500 young girls in her her flag league and doing things all across the U.S. So anything that we can do to promote the sports of women, but also the advancement of women, is going to be great.
Yeah, let me know when she's up here. We'll get her on the show.
Awesome, I will do.
Perfect. I'll let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for joining us again, Nick.
Indeed, you have a great one.
See you later. Well, not that he needs much of an introduction, but again, that's Nick Lewis, Hall of Famer, new Stamps receiver coach, making the